Welcome to the Ultimate Mixtape, an Andrew McMahon fan podcast covering his projects from something corporate to wilderness and everything in between. Join your hosts, Jess and Jimmy, as they talk about the Andrew McMahon fandom, upcoming shows, news, and discuss the music with you, the fans.
Welcome everyone back to the Ultimate Mixtape. I have Jimmy with me today and also two of our friends. You may recognize them from the photos of us singing on stage. We brought Jade Votava and Amanda Hafer with us today, and we are going to talk about everything that happened on 11/11. So we're so excited to have you guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. I can't believe this honor is finally here.
Hi, thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
So we're going to get into that whole experience and what it was like actually being on stage with Andrew. But something that we like to do with our guests is learn a little bit more about them. And this was kind of inspired by our trip to Niagara Falls, Jade, when we were all in an Airbnb and we're like, so what do you actually do for work? And we all just kind of like talked about the different things and responsibilities that we have. So I kind of like learning about everybody and seeing like the different perspectives that everybody has. So we just want to learn about you guys a little bit first, and then we'll get into that 11/11 stuff. So we'll start with you, Amanda. Welcome. Can you tell everybody like a little bit about where you're from and what you do, and maybe like how you first got into Andrew's music?
Sure. Okay. So, hi, I'm Amanda. I currently live in Tampa, Florida. I'm originally from the Chicago area. That's where I first met Jess and Jade and Jimmy, going to Andrew's shows in that area. I'm a pharmacist in the emergency department, and I currently work 7 days on, 7 days off. It's a really interesting job and an interesting schedule, but that lets me go to all the concerts and shows still that I like to do and hang out with you all. I started listening to something corporate with my friends in middle school. That's where I first was introduced to Andrew's projects, and I just kind of liked alternative bands and the piano rock, and then always thought his music was very inspiring and had great lyrics and something to relate to, and I just kind of followed him through all of his projects through the years.
Yeah, look at you now, following him across the country and stuff.
Yeah.
How about you, Jade? Where you're from, how you got started with Andrew, what you're doing?
Gosh, loaded questions. So also originally from Chicago, living in Washington, D.C. and working for Nestle in their analytics team. Started listening to something corporate like most, but it was supposed to be my high school emo years of 2023, but it wasn't a phase. I'm kind of still listening to the same music now. Some evolution, some not. But I'll be honest, I went to a few shows here and there, especially as I was kind of getting more introduced to different bands, but I really wasn't actively going to shows like I was a couple years ago until I was probably in my mid-20s. And that's where I think standing outside for shows to get barricade or waiting by the tour bus after a show, that's kind of where I started to meet Jess, Jimmy, Amanda, Katie, right? There was this whole group of folks that really introduced me to this different lifestyle. Had some money because I was working in corporate. Isn't that something? And was able to kind of take some time off and go to different cities, and ended up becoming a good portion of the US that I've seen Andrew in one way, shape, or form perform, and picked up a lot of friends on that journey.
I love that. It's kind of been like full circle for us, especially for 11/11, because we haven't gotten a chance to like all go to a show together for a while. And because we all met in the Chicago area, it's always special when we do get to see a show with you guys. And I mean, like, if anybody's listening and they don't know you guys personally, like these two were at our wedding. Like we absolutely love these guys. They were dancing with us, having a great time. So like, it's really important that we talk about like this friendship that we kind of made basically because of Andrew. And I'll pose this question now and kind of get it out of the way. And this can kind of go for both of you. Why do you guys think Andrew's so special? Like, why did we pick him? Like, how did this come to be? I don't know, Amanda, do you want to start?
I guess I just have always thought that he was a really personable musician. I liked that kind of being able to talk to him after the shows, meet him by the bus. It kind of integrated all the fans because everyone would hang out together and just kind of meet new people and chat. And there's this common interest that you share with other people. So having that music to relate to one another and talk about things with each other, I think that strengthened the friendships.
Oh, for sure. How about you, Jade?
This is an interesting one. I like the music. I agree. I think the piano rock was always a little bit different than the normal screaming emo that I would typically go after. However, I had this really interesting moment when I was in college where Andrew under Jack's Mannequin had performed, and there was a special kind of shout out to, it was kind of the start of the Dear Jack Foundation, but a friend of mine, her cousin had passed away from leukemia a couple of years before. And so we had this entire kind of journey and mission to spread the word about this and kind of raise some funds for her particular cause. And I think that between that and Andrew performing at the same time kind of opened up this new light of watching a musician kind of act in a different way and not just show up and say, here, I'm going to perform and we're going to spread the word, but he had that personal story and connection to it. And I've kind of had a psychological contract with that one particular moment. There's, I could have probably deviated many different ways and listened to a lot of different bands, but I always recircled back to Andrew and his music because there was just something about it. And then when I look back and think about the different albums, there's moments and milestones in my life that I can go back to an album and say, yep, that album defined this one moment or this one tough time I had or this one really happy time. And so because of that, I've always gravitated to his music. He can literally play like the ABCs and I would still show up to a show and be hyped about it because I was like, hi, Andrew played the ABCs. That's amazing. And it's mainly because I had that one moment that defined, hey, I'm just going to listen to this artist regardless of what he pulls out. And it's always been great stuff. I mean, but if he did the ABCs, I would support that as well.
That'd probably be my next tattoo. Just putting that out there. Next year on the boat, just putting that out there. No, but I think he's like, if you do a VIP, he's so personal with you. If you wait outside, he's so personal with you. It's just like you don't get that with any other artist. So, but what I was thinking when you guys were saying about Chicago, what's funny is I met all three of you on the same day.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Which is really like thinking about that. I was like, damn, I literally met all of you three on the same day.
That was the same.
What a great day for you.
What a fantastic day for me. I'm like, 8 years ago, we're going to be on stage in 8 years. Just hang with me. I'll be really good.
If you had a crystal ball and you were able to say in 8 years, you're going to be singing on stage with these a-holes, would you put that in your bingo card?
No, that was not on the bingo card. There was a lot from that weekend, this Austin weekend, that was not on the bingo card. No, but so first off, thank you both for being here. I think obviously the main point of this episode is we want to talk about 11/11 and the experience that we got to have. Dear Jack, I thought did an amazing job this year with sweepstakes. I think they raised a shit ton of money that they typically do not do this way. So one of the sweepstakes that I know I put a lot of money in was the Lie for 11/11. It was a huge bucket list item for me. It was one that I haven't checked off yet. I've got to do some cool things with him, but that was one that I really, really wanted to do. So that's where my money went to. But I remember Steve walking up on VIP night, and I knew he was going to probably announce at some point the winner. And it was like, I'm either going to cry sad tears like a bitch, or I'm going to cry happy tears, and I'm going to probably dance and get up. Thankfully, it was the latter. And I just could not believe, I think I even looked at Amanda and I was like, I cannot believe this just happened. I was just so excited knowing like the next day that we were about to do this. Obviously I knew who the 4 people were going to be. But I'm going to start with you, Jade, because I didn't really give you guys choices that you were going up with me. Like it wasn't a question. It was like, see you tomorrow. But what did you think knowing that you were going to go up there?
Yeah, wow. There were no choices.
No.
However, you made a choice for us, which I appreciate. It wasn't on my bucket list, right? I never really gravitated to having to be on stage with Andrew. However, I don't think I would ever take back that moment. Right?
Yeah.
It was kind of one of those YOLO situations where if you didn't win and if you didn't say your ass is going on stage with me, go, I probably just would have been great for those 4 friends that were on stage dancing and singing. But it was kind of insanity. And I think it was, you can't really, my nerves weren't even there. Like I don't have a lot of nerves left. And so there was really nothing to have to calm because I just kind of stood there like, is this really good? Yeah. And then, just YOLO, do it. Let's go wind it up. And then we were off to the races.
Amanda, I know you had to get an adult beverage before we went up, but what did you think knowing you were about to go on stage?
Yeah, so I was pretty shocked at the whole situation. I didn't really know what was happening. Like I knew the raffle was happening, but I didn't know Jimmy put so much money into it to like make you have the best shot. But I was really stoked for you when you won because I knew that was something you definitely wanted. Like Jade, like that's not really something that I ever pictured doing, but like I'm not gonna not take that opportunity to have it. So I was just super thankful for you guys for including me in it. I was already looking forward to the benefit. I had a crazy year with like a lot of tests and the thyroid cancer diagnosis and surgery. And so the Dear Jack benefit was very like special to me this year. And I knew it was going to be, but being able to be included in the opportunity to sing on stage with you guys in a friendship song with some of my best friends and Andrew, it just kind of made it more special to me and like something that I'll always remember.
Yeah. It was obvious who we were picking, but it was like, this is probably going to hit Amanda a little bit more because of what you've been through this year. And it actually hit me because, I'm an emotional little guy. But no, it was just like, this is so special to have the 4 of us up there with someone who we just have followed for so long. I thought it was an amazing experience. Do you guys have any like bucket list items regarding Andrew?
Not anymore. I mean, you have to follow him for like over half your life. You're like, well, I've met his dog, I've met his wife, I've met his like maybe go to Thanksgiving at his house. Throw that on.
Okay, we're gonna do that next year.
Yeah, one thing that I had was like I always wanted to go to another country to see Andrew.
Good one.
And something Jimmy and I always joked about was like, we should just fucking rent an RV and follow these guys around. Like, if that was ever an opportunity, like that would be fun to do. But Thanksgiving, Andrew, let's go.
Yeah, I guess the global Andrew show is probably the more logical next step. I went right to Thanksgiving with his family. So, hey, you know what? It could work.
Did you pass the stuffing, Andrew? Come on. Amanda, do you have any bucket list?
I guess for me, it's not really a bucket list, but like the next thing to check off would be doing the cruise next year because I haven't done any of the rock boats or any of the experiences, like a vacation with Andrew. So doing the cruise next year is going to be pretty awesome to see all 3 of his projects on one cruise.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool to see like an all Jack show, an all SoCo show, like not a mixed show. So it'll be a good time.
Yeah, and before like all those events on that day for 11/11, there was actually another Dear Jack event in the morning. They had a brunch. It wasn't something that we attended just because we were trying to be fiscally responsible, but at this point, Doesn't
that
even
true?
matter. So we didn't get to go to that, but Amanda did. So Amanda, can you tell us about what that event was like? Like, what did you think about like the food? You took some cute pictures with everybody. So what was the meet and greet situation like? Just give us all the details.
Yeah, so the morning of the benefit, they did the Bubbles and Brunch event. I thought it was a fun addition to the weekend, something new, something I've never done before.
Yeah.
It gave me the opportunity to kind of meet with some of the fellow Andrew friends, new friends and old friends, people that I haven't like had conversations with. So that was pretty cool. I also got the opportunity to talk to some of the Dear Jack staff and board members. And I know we're not always given the opportunity to talk to them in other settings. So that was really fun. As far as the food, they had French toast and some egg dishes and some breakfast tacos. And that was pretty cool. The French toast was definitely the highlight. Drinks were mimosas and Bloody Marys. The downside to this event was there wasn't enough like tables or seating. So it was kind of difficult to manage your food and the drinks at the same time. I guess in my mind, I had pictured like a big family style like table, everyone sitting and having like brunch sitting down.
Yeah, it sounds like the McMahon family Thanksgiving of 2025.
Yeah, I had seen pictures from like the Wine and Dine event, and that was like the big table setting, and so I was kind of picturing that. So just the setup was a little bit challenging. It was a big open room with some couches, but it was a little bit difficult to manage the food. So that's probably one of the things that I would mainly change. It kind of turned into like a couple hours of just mingling with fellow fans and the Dear Jack staff, which that was good, but I think they could also benefit from some formal programming, like either speakers or entertainment to kind of blend in with the mingling and just chatting. I think that was something that was kind of difficult to do the meet and greets with Andrew and the band, because I felt like they were always talking to someone, either another fan or like someone that I thought was more important than me. I didn't want to, like there's donors there and like Dear Jack staff that like he was having conversations with, and the band was having conversations with their friends and family. And so it was a little awkward to interrupt them to like have a chance to like do the actual meet and greet with the band, but eventually got my pictures. But yeah, it was enjoyable experience overall.
Yeah, nice. I actually liked all the different events that Dear Jack did. We talked about on the last podcast. It gave a great opportunity to like, you can meet for different fans, you can meet different teams that are raising money, and you got to really spend time with the Dear Jack people, which that's typically not the case. So I thought that brunch idea was great. So I'm glad you went and gave us some feedback, because I'm sure they'll do something like it on the boat some way. But so that was brunch. So then we went to, I guess sound check was up next, because if your team raised, I think it was $4,000 by October 2nd, you got to attend sound check at the benefit. I thought the sound check was good. The only thing I didn't really like is I had to hear 14 minutes of Constantine. Thought that was a bit much, but I liked that we were able to buy merch first. I thought Dear Jack's new merch was very well done. The black hoodie, go buy it. It's the most comfortable damn thing you've ever put on. But I thought it was a great sound check. Jade, what did you think? Was there anything like memorable about sound check? What did you think of the actual venue when you went in?
Yeah, I actually liked going to the venue during the daytime, because I probably would have gotten lost at night. To be fair, it was definitely in the wilderness because you were surrounded by trees and the stars were right above you. So the outdoor venue was nice, and I'm happy that the rain held off.
Right.
I don't really remember a lot of the songs that were being played. He definitely did. I woke up in a car and I was like, I gotta leave. But I spent a lot of the time, I think, talking to like some of the folks from Dear Jack, like Steve and Val were there, Ryan, right, Susan. So it was really nice to be able to connect with them and just to chit chat. And if I remember correctly, I had my cool new Dear Jack Foundation hat, and Brian Ireland had to pick fuzz out of my hair for part of the event. So it was definitely memorable. And I still have fuzz. Like it's like glitter. I have no idea how this fuzz continually finds itself in my hair a week later.
Have you taken a shower?
Yes, multiple.
Okay. I was just asking.
We're gonna verify with Jeff Bro and make sure that all is well. But so after the sound check, we went for drinks and got some food, and we met up with another Andrew fan, Brittany. I've been talking to her for a couple of weeks actually on Instagram, so it was kind of fun to put a face to the name and like get to know her personally, and she was really sweet, and I hope we get to see her again at other events. But we all ended up having VIP tickets for the show, so we were able to suppress the line that was there, so that's why we kind of chilled and hung back, and we're able to go. What was the name of the place, Jimmy, that we had drinks at?
Cockfight.
Oh, that was on 1110. But funny story about this. We kind of went over this a little bit in the previous podcast episode, but we didn't want to say it in like the nice episode that we had for 1110. So Jimmy kept mispronouncing the name of this bar. So Jade had to correct him. So Jade, what was he calling this bar?
What's Susan, by the way?
Do I? Is this going to be a risk? I think Jimmy called it cocksucker to multiple people.
It was a little off. It was a little off. I got the first 4 letters right, and then it went haywire.
Yeah, you sure got the first 4 letters correct, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, that was
keep going.
But on 11/11, we went to a different place. It was kind of like a hole in the wall place.
It was a dive with like death metal music.
It was like Kuma's Corner at a burger joint.
Yeah.
I guess Kuma's is a burger joint, isn't it?
Yeah. But it was good.
It was good. But once we actually got into the music venue, I don't know, I was kind of disappointed by the VIP experience. The viewing areas, I didn't think that they were that great. Like there was one that was up above, but there was a big, I don't even know, speaker blocking everything. So we were kind of like behind layers of people and we couldn't really see anything. So eventually we just went downstairs, and it didn't seem like we really got too much use out of that VIP other than getting in early, which was nice, but it really didn't impact where we were at the show. So that was a little bit disappointing. And I kind of liked where we ended up downstairs anyway, because we got to see the whole scope of like all the people there, but also had like a great view of the whole stage. And we ended up, finding our friends and having like this big group of people singing and dancing. So I thought that was way more fun than, trying to see anything from that VIP area. I know there was one towards the back, but that would have been even worse.
It was like 100. It was like 100 yards away. It was like you weren't even in the venue.
I would say it was so far back.
It
was too far back. Amanda, as you're watching the show, when did it hit you like, oh yeah, we're gonna be on that stage at some point? Like it had to come.
Yeah, so I was trying to just keep that out of my mind for the majority of the set. Both the openers, I was trying to focus on, like, not focus on them, but enjoy their sets. I had never listened to either of them before. So I was really just taking that all in, kind of enjoying their music, just chatting with some of our friends that we don't see all the time, chatting with just some other people that were around us, and kind of keeping that out of my mind. I didn't really start to process it until like Andrew was like midway through his set.
Yeah, we had like a cue that we were supposed to follow. So once we heard like what was the cue, like once
New
this
friends.
Yeah, we knew that we were going to have to like make our way to the stage. So how about you, Jade? Like when did it hit you like, oh shit, we're gonna be on that stage and all these people are gonna be looking at us?
There was a couple times during, because I was a little worried that I was gonna do like my finger gun dance, and I turned to Katie and I was like, what do I do instead of this? And so we were like coming up with like the tree pose, which I eventually did during one part of the song. But there was so much that happened between getting into the venue and like the first note of La La Lie that it was all a blur. And I'm like a huge fan of Michigander. Apparently I had heard their music like before through just, my Spotify algorithm. And now I've been like nonstop listening to them. So it's kind of cool. Like I think I laser focused on Michigander and that's when we had finally moved to I think a better viewing and hearing area. And I was focused on listening to their music and like Amanda said, catching up with people that you don't see, but maybe once a year when we kind of get together.
Yeah, I was glad that we went down there because that VIP was like, if you were front row, yeah, you could see, but if not, you weren't going to see a damn thing. And that speaker was so big that it was like, I can't see anything even being in this front row. So I was glad that we met up with all those people. And it was kind of fun to like run into Val. Mitzel came by. Like it was a little party in the corner. But two people that I was really glad we ran into was Ryan and Ashley, who had talked the night before. Because Brett had told us, they were like, Brett was like, you need to meet them. They're going to be your new best friends. You just have to meet them. You have so much in common. And we literally text almost every hour of every day since Austin. So it's like, it was really fun to meet them and like hit it off with them. But I was glad that we were with everybody. It was much more of a fun atmosphere than just being up there. So it was like a tour show to me because he said it was going to be like a tour show. He had a Constantine and some other songs, but it was literally like the tour that's going on right now. But Jade, what did you think of like the crowd or the energy of Stubbs?
Yeah, I give it like a 7 out of 10, honestly. It felt like there were a lot of SoCo fans there that were just kind of ready to release the Kraken at the first sign of hurricane. It was, it's you guys know exactly how that goes. But however, the Dear Jack shows always are a little bit more special. They always feel a little bit more special, a little bit different. And not just because you hear Constantine, you're like, okay, great. But there's always this energy and aura that's like around the show that you just can't really explain or articulate. I try to come up with the words and they escape me each time because and if I remember correctly, Ashley and Ryan going back on stage was not part of the original like Andrew's original plan, and it just kind of happened very in the moment. And I think that was the right thing. That was the right approach that needed to happen because by the time they got back in, I was able to connect with them when they were in the crowd, and I think it changed the concert a little bit, just having them up there and kind of retelling their story, especially as fans. It connected with the fans that were in the crowd. But yeah, because it was more tour focused rather than that Dear Jack benefit, I thought there were a few nice touches that seemed very intentional and unintentional that I think ended up making it feel like a little bit different than just going to, I think you guys went to the Houston show right after. So it probably felt, and I hope it felt a little different for you as well.
It did. Amanda, what do you think? How was energy for you?
I'm along the same lines of Jade, probably like a 7. I thought it was pretty comparable to some other shows, except the recent Something Corporate shows like in Vegas were next level, like awesome. Awesome crowds, everyone singing and dancing and everything. So I felt like there were some interesting parties in this crowd at Stubbs, like people that I wouldn't expect to be at an Andrew show. There was also some groups like just talking throughout the whole thing and not really singing or into the music. And I might have just been in an unlucky spot and got to witness that, but I thought that was a little bit different. But I don't know. I'm all for all those people checking out the Dear Jack benefit and like being there for the foundation anyways. So
Right.
I kind of want as many people to come as possible if that's the way to get them there. Because like Jade said, this show is just different. Like it's a different vibe than a normal tour show, and knowing that you're there for like fundraising for the foundation and getting to hear Ashley and Ryan speak again was just really special. But I did like the set list and like the variety of songs, and it's always fun seeing everyone's reaction when he plays Constantine when he doesn't it normally. So that's fun.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, like I know specifically where we were at, we were like kind of by a tree, and there was like a group of bros, and you know, anytime something kind of SoCo-ish happened, they were like, "Whoa, yeah!" I'm like, okay, I'm happy they're excited, but like tone it down just a little bit. But you know, they still paid, and that money went to Dear Jack, so I'm happy about that.
And they probably woke up in a car because they were all drunk.
Yeah.
Well,
it
was fun to see like Amanda said, like the different types of people and different types of groups that were there, because some of them you're like, okay, this guy is like, he looks like he's in a hardcore band and he's sitting here jamming. So it was just kind of fun to like people watch.
Oh yeah.
As we were like getting closer to the time to get to the stage, we were told a couple things could happen, and basically none of it did. But it felt a little bit like, oh, I feel very unprepared for this moment now. Just little things like we didn't know Andrew was going to be riding the duck during La La Lie, so that was kind of an awkward experience because here we are singing and dancing, and now there's nothing. So what do? Like, we just start taking pictures and like, you know, waving hi to our friends that we see from that area. And I was petrified before going on the stage. So I went to the bottom bar of the like VIP area, and I told the bartender, I'm like, can I have a shot of tequila? I'm about to go on the stage and sing with the band. And he's like, you got this, girl. You can do this. And he was hyping me up. He was like the best person. We fist bumped, and I was like, yes, I have this. So I felt great when we finally went over to the side of the stage with Brett. Sometimes you just need that little bit of encouragement from a complete, total stranger.
Sure.
So, Amanda, how did you feel when we knew that we were up next? Like, were you scared? Were you nervous? Like, what was going through your head?
I would say I was definitely a little bit nervous as we were approaching that like time, and each song was like, I knew the set list, so like I knew it was almost there. I'm more of an introvert, don't like a lot of attention until I really get to know people, and so I was definitely nervous for that moment. I also went to the bar to take a shot, and the bartender ended up asking me about like Dear Jack Foundation and where the money was going to. So I got to give my little spiel to her and talk to her about that. And so that was a good distraction in preparation of going on stage.
That's awesome. Always talking about Dear Jack. How about you, Jade? What were you thinking when we were like literally about to walk up there?
Yeah, I was looking at the amount of chords on the stage. Like, don't trip over that chord or that chord or that chord. There was a lot of chords on stage. There was a lot of tripping hazards, and I just imagined Jimmy tripping, me tripping. We talked a little bit about me like falling out of a tent. I had this whole thing that I was gonna like pop out of a tent, and I was like in the wilderness. The other thing that I have to laugh because I looked at Jimmy as both of you were standing at the bar taking your shots with your respected bartender, and I was like, we got to do something to make them laugh. And so part of going on stage was making eye contact with you guys and making you laugh at just random times, because I knew it was one of those once in a lifetime opportunities, and I was like, I gotta get my friends here to just not think about anything but the stage. And it was wacky. But those are the two things that I was like laser focused on.
Yeah, I was just like excited, like I couldn't believe it was happening. Like it's again bucket list. So
extra attention. I wonder who it could be.
No, I'm an introvert. No. No, I was really fucking excited. I'm sorry for the language, but I just couldn't comprehend that we were about to be on stage with all of them. It was like, is this really happening? But I know we had joked earlier in the day that we were going to do some choreography dancing, maybe some of the Carlton, maybe some trees waving. Jade, you did a great job with the trees waving.
Yeah, the Carlton.
Oh yeah, you did do the Carlton, didn't you?
Did.
That's right.
I didn't know what else to do. No one prepares you.
No, they don't. They don't. But when we walked up there, and I actually saw the video. Of course, I'm clapping because I'm a clapping bitch. I love to clap. But it was like I just went to Mikey because I was like, I need a hug. Like I need to be comfortable up here. So I went straight to him and then walked to the piano. And it was like I looked out and it was like, holy shit, we're up here. But what was surprising to me is you couldn't hear anything. Like Andrew was like literally a foot in front of you and you could not hear him sing. And it was like, what is going on? And we actually talked to, who did we talk to? Lisa, because she has done it before. And she said she could hear, but she was in an indoor setting. So I don't know if it was because we were outdoors, but it was like, I heard the drums, but I couldn't hear singing. I couldn't hear anything else. So I thought that was weird. I thought the crowd was even quiet. And I know they were making noise, but we just couldn't hear it. So that was probably the weirdest thing. And I still don't understand why I couldn't hear. But Jade, were you like more excited, scared, or just what did you think like when you took the first steps on stage?
It was a flood of emotions because it was one of those, how did I get here? It was an out of body experience a little bit where you walk on stage and we're like, nah, this isn't really happening. I'm gonna wake up and it's gonna be like this really weird dream that I'm in. But yeah, no, there was, I think that was the biggest thing to your point, Jimmy, was there was no sound. And a few times, I've sang this song. I mean, that day I sang it 4 times to prepare because I was like, hey, what if I mess up the words? How embarrassing would it be? And you left me to stand next to Andrew to sing his music. And then I was like, what part of the song are we at? I'm like, watermelon, just like mouthing things to just look like I was actually a fan at some point in my life. But then there was a few times where like Andrew would turn to make eye contact with me and I was like, I forgot the lyrics. I don't even know what song this is. Is this a new one? Is this a remix? I don't know.
Is he singing No Scrubs? Like what's he singing?
Yeah. Oh, is this Creed? I don't know. Definitely with arms wide open. I know he just switched this on us. So, but that threw me off so much. I could hear Jay, but nothing else.
No, and I could see the crowd. Like obviously they were singing, they were yelling, but you couldn't hear anything. And it was like, I hope he's still singing La La Lie, or I'm singing a totally different song. Like,
he actually talked to us. We had no idea the entire time he said anything until we watched the video back. Saying like, oh, these are my homies. I've known these guys for a long time, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
No clue he said any of that. No. So it was kind of funny to watch that back. We're like, wait, when did that happen?
Yeah. He could have been like, I hate these people. And we're like, yeah, perfect. Like, it was like, I don't know what you're telling me. And then when he came up to me and he was like, he was whispering, I was like, I just can't hear you. And he was like, oh, it's a sweepstakes. I was like, yeah. And then he walked away and I was like, okay, whatever he said, yeah, sweepstakes. But it was like, I feel like I'm deaf. But Amanda, what did you think, like being so close to like Andrew, let alone singing? Like, to me, it's like the best friendship song, and we have the 4 of us up there. What were your feelings up there?
So before going on stage, when we were talking to Ashley, she was saying that when they were speaking on stage that the crowd was pitch black. So to me, when I was walking on stage, like that's what I was expecting to see. And so I wasn't prepared to have the whole audience lit up like looking back at us. So you could see everything. And I mean, after a couple minutes in, I was trying to pick out friendly faces, like people that I knew in the crowd, and that was cool. but it was definitely like a shocking moment to know that it, like, they were illuminated and we were on stage, and just kind of being next to Andrew. But like you said, you couldn't hear anything. Like, I could see Andrew like singing, moving his lips, but I didn't know what he was saying. And so I just tried to, I don't know, smile, dance. I was interacting with Jess and Jade a lot, because we had been joking about how I was messing up the lyrics. So every time that line, "the spaceman that can't get high," played, we pointed it out to each other that I do in fact know the lyrics.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
You do now. Jess, in 2023.
That whole scenario was surreal because it felt like a movie, like the ending of a movie. We get to do this huge thing. It was epic, and like you said, like we saw all the people. So I kind of tried to do the same thing that Amanda did. Maybe it's our anxiety, right? People that we know and kind of sing to them, because then it feels like we're singing with our friends, which is what we do anyway. And then like after a minute or so, you kind of get more settled into it, and then you're just like, fuck it, like who cares at this point? I'm just gonna sing and dance. And luckily I feel like I know that song very well. So it was kind of fun to like sing with Andrew, even though we didn't really know where
he was at.
He was at all times. But like that whole scenario was super cool. And if anybody gets a chance to bid on something like that, I would 100% do it. It's very unique and so fun. So I mean, I can't say enough. Like, thank you to Dear Jack for like making that happen for us. It was really cool. And maybe it was the tequila kicking in, because when I saw all those people in the crowd, at some point I saw pictures where we're like very aggressively pointing.
It's an aggressive song.
It was like a therapy session. We were like, just like screaming with all of us, just like finger pointing. Like we had so much vengeance that came out in that song.
And honestly, I don't think I could ever hear it again and not think of us all together on the stage. Because he did play it again in Houston, and I was like, well, this isn't the same.
Bar has been set.
No, I'm just kidding. I still love the song, and I love singing it with our friends. But like I said earlier, the duck thing was a little bit of an awkward moment, but I always feel awkward, so that was kind of fun to kind of watch as Andrew did this from a totally different perspective. Usually the duck is falling on top of my head. This time we got to just watch the whole thing play out. So we weren't expecting that, but that was kind of fun on our end. Amanda, what did you think during that awkward moment? Did you try to like feel cool? Like, what were you like trying to do? Because I felt so weird. I'm like, what do we do?
Yeah, I was also not expecting him to ride the duck during that song. I thought he was going to do it in a different song, or just not do it at all. I thought maybe he skipped it. So I just wasn't expecting it. I definitely felt a little bit awkward just standing there for a couple minutes. I know before we got on stage, we had said that we weren't going to take our phones out and we were just going to like live in the moment and experience it. But then we had that 2 minutes of just free time to
I'm sure it was 40 minutes long.
Yeah, it was a very long intermission to the
it was like 4 Constantines.
Well,
so we got a
it was 8 minutes. 8 minutes total for the whole thing. And it felt like every second of it.
Yeah, but it was interesting to take pictures and see Andrew riding the duck in the audience from that perspective. So I guess it gave us a couple minutes to take some photos and selfies on stage to remember that moment. But I would have liked if he would have, instead of riding the duck, came over and did the little arm around our shoulder swaying moment, la la la, kind of experience it closer with us.
How about you, Jade? Do you feel like you got to really utilize all your dance moves that you were saving up for this moment?
No, because I didn't do the wacky inflatable arms, and I was planning on doing that. I did the palm tree. I went to tree pose for yoga because I thought that was fun. I got really distracted by the owl on his staring at me, and I thought, is there a camera in there? Like I had like a moment of like, And then I got really distracted because during the 2 minutes or the 4 Constantines or whatever it was that we were just standing on stage, like, what do we do? I like looked into the tent. I was like, is there anything in the tent? Like, I just got very like inquisitive on all of the things on the stage. I'm like, what is the wilderness that's defined by?
Yeah. It was weird.
I got a closer look at Bones, the dog, on stage.
Oh yeah. I love that he howls 3 times and he can't stop.
We also had no idea Brian Ireland was up there.
Yes.
When did that happen?
Where was he? I didn't even notice him.
He was by Jay.
Oh.
Yeah, we got some picture and it was the 4 of us, and then it was like Jay's obviously behind us, and then Brian Ireland was there. I was like, where did he like get photoshopped in? Like, where'd he come from?
Yeah, definitely never saw him.
No. But I thought
he probably wanted to do La La Lie with us, but didn't know how to like get into the crowd. So
yeah, he just like, I'm just gonna go on stage. But it was weird to look around because like you looked at Mikey. Mikey laughed, I think, the whole fucking time that we were up there because he just was like, you guys are goofballs. But to see Jay like right behind us just pounding drums, it was like, this is like a really cool experience to be this close to this. But I didn't expect him to be on the duck. And it was like, shit, we have 2 minutes, probably 2.5 minutes. He's gonna go get a shot, and then it's like, what do we do here? I was like, Carlton, no. But I thought it was cool. Just
laughed a lot, back and forth.
Right,
I felt like I had to be the hype woman for the stage, right? Like I took that responsibility on.
You did good. You did good. You did good.
You did a great job, Jade.
Yeah. Keep up the good work. But once it was done, like he came back, obviously he jumped off the piano almost onto my head. But once he jumps off, it was like, okay, now what do we do? And it was like, okay, so we're just gonna sit up here. But it was like, Jade, how did you feel like after he threw the set list, he jumped off and he left? It was like, what did you feel like when it was over?
I didn't even notice him leave the stage. So I guess feelings were just like, you're on this like emotional high. I just remember leaving the stage and just being like, okay, it's over. Like that's in my memories. And I think I had that one last mental picture. And then I was like, okay, like end scene. And then like exit stage. And then the lead singer from Michigander was like waiting there for me. It was really interesting. Yeah.
That awkward moment where we're like, hey, you had a great set.
That's when my finger guns immediately came back out. Like,
they didn't get us to tell him anything. Like, we're like, yeah, it's really good.
Keep up the good work. Amanda, what did you think like when it was over and we were walking off stage?
Yeah, I think I was kind of in shock when it ended. Didn't really know what was happening. I also didn't realize Andrew had already left the stage, and then we were like slowly filing off the stage. So I don't think I really processed that was a real moment that just happened. Right. But then I was just focused on walking off the stage and not tripping and over the cords and the steps. And I went down the side instead of the normal steps. So I was just focused on getting off safely.
I remember looking out, like after he had left the stage and we were about to walk off, I remember looking out, it was like, I need to take this one more time, this like snapshot in my head, because who knows if we'll ever get that experience again. I was like, I just need to take this all in. Jess, what did you think when we were getting off stage?
It was wild, like the whole thing from start to finish. Even just like Andrew, we know he's gonna do his little jump and then he's gonna throw the set list, all this stuff, but then he was just like gone, and then we're like, okay. So now what?
He like disappeared.
Well, we could just stay on the stage forever, or I guess we just walk off, and but it was kind of like, okay, did that just happen? Yeah, it did happen. Like, and all 4 of us afterwards are standing there like, whoa. This is crazy. So it was kind of fun to like decompress that afterwards.
Yes.
And I still don't think that we fully have, because it was such a strange full circle experience. Like we did that, we sang with our friends on stage. I have no desire to be a musician ever. It definitely showed me how hard it is for them, and like appreciate all the work that they put into that. And it was such a high. After the show, though, we ended up like gathering all the people that we kind of have accrued, and we walked a couple blocks in the rain, of course, and we trekked so that we could all like hang out, decompress afterwards, and just talk about the show. I just really enjoyed the whole experience. As fans, like, what would you tell other people if they were going to do something like this? Because we had so many people, honestly, it felt like they were just cheering us on, and there was like a lot of love coming towards us when we were on the stage, so it made it feel so much more comfortable. What would you guys tell people, like, if they wanted to do something like this?
I think like seeing everyone smiling and singing, even though like we didn't actually hear them, you could tell they were singing. I think that just kind of helped ease my nerves. So I know like I wouldn't have necessarily thought that I would want to sing on stage with Andrew, but like I think if you have the opportunity to do so, it's an incredible experience. And having everyone already being like such a positive fan base and supporting one another, I think that just helped ease my nerves and get me through the experience and made it even more enjoyable. So I think if someone has the opportunity to do so, they definitely should. And I enjoyed after the fact getting to see all the pictures that everyone took of us, and like they were so excited for like our excitement. So that just made me kind of forget that I was even nervous or like worried about being awkward to begin with. They didn't really think that we were awkward or like acting silly, even though we might have thought we were. They just thought it was a great experience.
Jade?
Yeah, I mean, it's a reconfirmation of the fandom that people really do care about each other, and they kind of rose to the occasion, almost like a group of siblings, right? Like, oh, I gotta go take their picture. I'm proud of them. Make sure I print that out and put it on my refrigerator. But yeah, I mean, like what Amanda said is spot on. It's definitely just it was just a reminder that in that moment, people were coming up to you, oh my gosh, you did such a good job. And I was like, I just clapped on stage. I was like, no different than a background singer, for Tina Turner. I don't know. Like, it was just this weird, like, moment of like, I don't know what I was doing up there, but everyone was just kind of confirming, no, you did such a great job. And it was very nice and sweet. And I think this is the outpouring of pictures and videos of people that I didn't even know, right? Who were like, oh, I caught you on stage, or I caught you guys on stage. And so it was really cool to see that. And it kind of gave me a boost of energy, because sometimes I think the fandom can there's a couple apples, and then there's a whole bunch of beautiful trees of people that are just wonderful and awesome. And I was really happy to be able to see them, and they showed up. And so that was just kind of, I think we kind of needed that reconfirmation. There still are some 99.9% of this fandom is amazing, awesome people that we would do the exact same thing back for them when it's
I think it was cool because it was like some of those people we just met like the day before, and you could just tell they were genuinely happy. Like, it wasn't fake, it wasn't the BS. It was like they were genuinely happy that we got that opportunity. So it almost goes back to like, why is Andrew special? It's like, well, look who he brings together. So it was like, it was nice to see like genuine happiness for us. But I see why he gets a rush being on stage, because that experience was like, there's a lot of people yelling at you. There's a lot of shit going on the stage, and it was like, he's a rock star and he deserves everything he gets. But I thought the overall experience was great. Do you guys have any like last words about the whole night?
It was just an amazing experience, and I loved getting to do it with all of you guys.
Oh, that made my heart flutter.
I was gonna say, like, it was like a thank you for asking us, because it wasn't my bingo card for this year. It was never something that I would seek after. In fact, I would be the first person to donate the money and give it away to someone, right? Because I was like, I don't need that attention. But it was kind of that forced energy of putting you there in that moment. And then now that you have it ingrained in your memory, it's like nothing can take this away. Yet it was I think, Jess, you said earlier, you're never going to listen to La La Lie again and not think about that moment.
Yep.
Sitting in silence on a stage because we couldn't hear anything, but we knew it was playing. You know, we thought we knew it was playing.
I loved towards the end, like when Andrew was writing the duck, and we're like, let's just have a group hug.
Yeah,
we're like having that moment, and just like I just really appreciated it, and like we said before, like none of this could happen without the Dear Jack Foundation. They made us feel amazing, and it was an honor to be on stage with Andrew because, you know, we've all looked up to him for so long, and to be able to do it with our friends, like that was just like one of the best experiences ever.
That selfie is like my favorite picture. Like the selfie that we took while he was on the duck, that picture is like, it's just so fun. So fun.
We look so happy.
I know.
Sure.
Honestly, when Andrew was on that duck, we were like, Andrew who? This is our stage now.
I wanted to go play the piano, but you guys.
You did. I thought we were definitely going to get kicked out.
We had Jimmy and I were like, no, don't touch the piano.
I know. That's also on video, is me yelling at Jimmy as he's trying to play Andrew's piano.
Whatever.
Just a couple housekeeping things for the podcast. This is actually going to be our last episode of the season. So thank you guys for coming on. We are going to start working on stuff for season 3. We're going to start that up again in January. We've already started reaching out to people and asking them to come on. So I'm excited to get into that because we are going to cover the SoCo shows for New Year's Eve. I know Amanda's going to be there too. We're going to have a blast with that. There's some shows in Florida in January, and who knows, there might be more from there. So we'll be covering, but also reaching out to more people, like some of the people that we met over the weekend for sure. And we just wanted to thank everybody that was like so supportive for the podcast, and everyone that shares it and likes it. And most importantly, like, thank you guys, Jade and Amanda, for coming on and talking about this crazy life we lead, following our favorite musician. Like, can you guys share your social media so other people can follow you? We'll start with Amanda.
Sure. My Instagram is Amanda_farm, PHARM, Disney. So it incorporates PharmD, my pharmacy degree, and Disney, my other love.
Your other degree.
And Jade, how about you? Where can people find you?
I had to look this up, so that's how cool I am. At Jade Votava, first and last name. I literally had to go to my Instagram to make sure I knew my own handle. So that's great.
So definitely look out for all of us next year during the Dear Jack fundraising season. We're happy to answer any questions for people that are interested in Dear Jack as far as fundraising goes, and help teams along the way. We will be also on the cruise. I know Amanda's going on that as well. If anybody has questions or concerns about that, we've done it a couple times. We're happy to help. And we just want to thank everyone that cheered for us, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the wild soon.
Yes. Peace.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Ultimate Mixtape, an Andrew McMahon fan podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe everywhere you listen to your podcasts. To keep up with the latest news, visit our website, www.theultimatemixtape.com.